my heart like kind of sunk into my chest and I'm like, oh my God, someone's in my fucking house. So I just want to say, because I know that some of you guys in the comments have said you're sick and tired of hearing about my Patreon, and I get that, I totally understand, and I'm sorry that I've mentioned it so many times. I hope that you understand why I mention it so much. It's because without Patreon, I wouldn't still be able to post here on YouTube, and so it kind of is like, I don't know, I hope that you can think of it as like a commercial that you can just skip through. You know, it's only a few seconds of the video, and I have to do it so that I can continue to keep posting videos. I really hope that you guys understand, and why I want to like thank my patrons, because without them I wouldn't be able to be doing this. So yeah, if it bothers you or it annoys you, I'm really sorry. Like I said, just think of it as a commercial. Just fast forward through it and get to the rest of the video. But I am gonna just say really quickly that on Patreon coming up, I am going to be putting 2 story times there that I can't post here for obvious reasons. One of them is going to be my first time ever using meth and how that came about, and then the second one is going to be one of the stupidest things I've ever done while being on meth. So if you guys are interested in that, I will link my Patreon link down below. I just do want to say thank you so much to everybody that has chosen, if they can, to support me on there, because again, it allows me to be able to make videos like this one here for you guys on YouTube. So I'm sorry if I'm annoying you. I'm really not trying to. I'm just trying to be able to continue doing what I love and being able to post videos for you guys. So again, that's it. Okay, now let's get into the video. Ooh, honey chap. Hello everyone, it's Channon Rose, and in today's video, I thought I would bring it back old school for you guys, get in some comfy clothes, hang out in my room, and tell spooky stories. Okay, I know my hair looks like how I feel right now, which is absolutely crazy. I'm pretty sure I'm losing my mind during all of this. Anybody else losing their mind also? Let me know down in the comments. Okay, so on a serious note, there have been some really weird things happening in our house, especially since we've been locked inside of it. And I'm gonna tell you guys what's been happening. And I'm also gonna put in some live footage of something so scary. Well, it's one of the many reasons why I actually put my house up for sale because of this. And let's just get into the story. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. If you have watched some of my past videos, you know that when we first bought the house, I always ask, like whenever I'm house hunting, has anybody passed in the house? And someone did pass in this house. So that was one thing. But I'm pretty good about like feeling out, I don't know, I feel like I'm a very sensitive person and I can feel things. I'm not like psychic or anything like that, but I definitely feel like energy is like, I get a bad feeling, or that I can walk into a house and it makes me feel kind of sick, like physically sick, or like dizzy, or just like an off feeling. Like I experience that when I walk into a house. Also with people, it's kind of weird. Anyway, when I walked into this house, I had no bad feelings about the house at all. In fact, I fell in love with it, which is why we ended up buying it. But here's the thing. Right before we moved in, I was curious about how the person passed. And even though the realtor said that they passed peacefully on the property, I wanted to just double check, because as a lot of you guys know, I'm sure if you've watched any of my other haunted house videos, that I've lived in like an extremely haunted house before. I don't even think it was haunted. I think it was possessed, and it was like demonic and very evil. That was totally different than what I'm experiencing here. What I'm experiencing here, I think, is more of like haunting. I don't think it's like a evil demonic thing at all, but it is still pretty scary. So I wanted to like share with you what's going on. In fact, my mom was here when one of the really scary things happened. Yeah, anyway, okay, I'm getting off track. Let me get back to before we even moved into the house. I wanted to double check. And so there's this thing called, I forget, oh gosh, what is the website? It's like whodiedinmyhouse.com, something like that. If I can find it, I'll try to put it on the screen. It's like a place where you can type into a website and find out who's died in the house. And this is a thing, you guys. There was actually a brutal murder that happened down the street from us. And so when I was like researching stuff, that came up, and that was like obviously disturbing and very sad. But what came up in my house was that basically found out the realtor kind of lied to us a little bit about the death in the house, because there wasn't just one death in the house, there were 2. And I believe the husband and the wife both died here. And so it doesn't give a lot of information. It just let us know that the wife had passed first and then the husband passed, which that is like a normal thing. I think a lot of times that does happen. I remember when I was in nursing school, I was working at a nursing home, and a lot of times if the wife would pass first, the husband would pass shortly after. And a lot of times they say like the spouse like dies of like a broken heart after the other one goes, which is like so sad. And then some people say like, well, back then the wife took care of the husband and like cooked for them and cleaned for them, and the husband can't like fend for themselves, and so they end up dying shortly after the wife. I don't know which one's true. I like to believe they are dying of broken heart. So I feel like sometimes that happens, but I don't know. I didn't like that they didn't tell me that there were 2 deaths on the property close to each other. But again, I just have to say, I didn't have any bad feelings in the house. Everything was really great, and so we ended up buying it. Shortly after we bought it, we were still living at my mom's house at the time, and we were slowly moving our stuff into the house. And when we were doing this, we weren't really spending the night here. We were still sleeping at my mom's because we kind of wanted to like have everything ready and done before we like moved in and started sleeping there. So it had been like a month, maybe like a month or 2 before we were actually living and sleeping in this house. And again, during the time that we were slowly transitioning and moving here, nothing weird happened, nothing like that. But when we started sleeping here, something was making us very sick in the house, and we weren't able to stay here. And I've talked about this before in a previous video, but we had to call in so many different people because we were like couldn't stay in our house. It wasn't just me, it was also Travis, and I didn't feel safe having snow here if like every time we walked in the house something was making us sick. We didn't know what it was. We assumed it was like, I don't know, maybe mold or like gas leak. So we literally called in everybody. We called in the fire department to come check for like any gas leaks or any type of leaks. Everything turned out fine. We had somebody come in with like EMF detectors to make sure that there was no like, magnetic field or something weird, you know, in our house that would be making us feel not well. And everything checked out clean. We even went as far to have a Reiki person come in and like clear the house with like sage and like play music. People literally thought I had fucking lost my shit. Like, when I posted about this on Instagram, I posted on my stories and people were like, have you fucking lost your mind? And I was like, listen, if you had just bought a house and it was making you sick, you would literally do everything to try to like make whatever that was go away. So when the Reiki person came, he had said that he could feel spirits in the house, but he put them up and like let them go to heaven or whatever, however he put it, like way better than I did. He was like playing music. He put big ass crystals in the corner of every room. Like we did everything. We had gotten new shutters installed in our house, like plantation shutters, and we thought that maybe the off gassing from that was what was making us sick. So we just made sure to like open all the windows, air everything out. After we had done all that, the Reiki guy came in, everything all of a sudden like went away. Like we were totally fine. We were able to be here. We didn't feel sick anymore. It was so weird. So that was the first thing, you guys, and our first experience of like just something odd happening in the house. But again, we just thought it was the shutters. So that was one thing. Another thing is my husband is a little crazy when it comes to certain things. Like he doesn't like using a microwave. In fact, he doesn't really use a microwave at all to like cook his food because he thinks it's not safe and healthy, and a bunch of other things. Like he doesn't want the cell phone anywhere near him. You know, a lot of things, which I'm sure those things are not good for you, but he is like overly worried about stuff like that. And so he bought these little things and they go into the outlets to get rid of any dirty electricity. You're probably like, Shannon, what is dirty electricity? I don't fucking know, but my husband does, and apparently it's not good for you. I have no idea. I just know that like he put these little outlet things in. It's supposed to get rid of the dirty electricity, and then he has, you know, like if you go on a ghost hunt or something, they have like those EMF readers and it does something. I don't know. I'm not really sure exactly what it does, but when he ordered this kit to put the plug in the wall, it comes with a little reader to show you before you put it in, you hear, you know, like all this staticky stuff, and then you put the little plug in. It's like you know, like the Glade plugins that you put in the wall. I'm trying to explain it. Actually, you know what, fuck it, let me just find one. Hold on one second. I'll show you exactly what they look like, because I feel like if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're probably gonna be like, what are you saying?
One eternity later.
Okay, I'm back. It's this. Let me get up close so you guys can actually see it. This is what it looks like, and you just plug it into an outlet. In fact, if you go back and watch the video, weird things are happening in my daughter's room. I think that's what I named it. Hold on, I'm out of breath from walking from one room to the next. Also, if you're interested in these, I will try to link them down below or put them on my Amazon storefront. But if you watch that video, you would see we posted like actual footage in that video of before we put this in, it was getting like a radio signal in her room, which was really odd because different plugs weren't getting that. And some people were like, oh, sometimes that just happens. Like, actually, no, it doesn't happen. And if it did, it would be happening in her room, right? But like it only was happening on one outlet. It was very strange and weird. Actually really freaked my husband out more than anything. I get pretty scared about stuff. That didn't scare me as much. It definitely scared my husband more than it scared me. And so that was just like another weird thing. But then some other strange things started happening. So when we first moved in here, my husband got from like Home Depot these little carbon monoxide and smoke detectors, and they're electric ones. I don't know. They're like the newer ones that when they start going off, they tell you what is causing the alarm to go off. So it'll be like fire, fire, or it'll say say like gas, like if it's like a carbon monoxide gas leak or something like that. So he had bought 2 of them, one for upstairs and one for downstairs. And we have like fire ones, you know, different places, but he wanted to get these just as a precaution. So I remember one night, all of a sudden this super loud alarm starts going off. And I'm like, what the fuck? I knew it was like in our house, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was a gas leak or a fire. And when you're upstairs, this was all the way downstairs where our laundry room is on like the, you know, we have 3 levels. So it was like way on the bottom level. And it scared the shit out of me because it's super loud and it was just like very unexpected. And so I'm like, Travis, like there's something's wrong. Like go downstairs and find it, you know, or like figure out what's going on. So he goes down there and he's like, oh, it's just like a false alarm or something. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, like it's just defective or something. It started going off saying like that there's a fire, but obviously there's no fire down there. He's like, I would have smelled smoke. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. Again, didn't think anything of it. Just thought the stupid thing like malfunctioned. So we ended up just like, you know, throwing it away, recycling it, and got a new one to replace for down there. So the other day, my mom was here, and again, it was like late. Snow had already gone to sleep, and my mom was staying here because she was getting her house tinted. So she was there with us late at night. We were like watching a movie, and I remember Travis was taking a shower upstairs. So Travis was on the 3rd level. My mom and I were on the 2nd level, and the smoke alarm thing started going off again. And this is now while all of us are in quarantine also. And so just like all of our anxieties are a lot more heightened right now. So when that alarm went off, my mom and I like jumped up because it scared us. And I immediately ran up to get snow and then told Travis, who was in the shower, like, get out of the shower, hurry. The alarm is going off. I think there's like a fire or something downstairs. And I'm like, I need you to check it because he is the one that installed these things. I don't know how they work. They're not like the ones that like if they go off, you just take them off the thing or disconnect them or take the batteries out. Like those ones, it doesn't work like that. I don't know how to turn it off. And obviously like I panicked a little bit. So Travis, oh my God, this is like another, Travis and I got in such a big fight over this because Travis is very level-headed and I'm the opposite. Like if I hear alarm go off, I immediately like panic, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, there's a fire. I don't think maybe there's a fire or maybe it just went off on its own. You know, like most fire alarms don't just go off on their own. If you're cooking something and there's like smoke, no one was cooking anything. No one was barbecuing outside. There's no reason why it would go off without an actual fire. So I'm just assuming that it's a fire going off. Travis is in the shower and he has soap all over him. And so I'm like, Travis, hurry up and get out of the shower. The alarm is going off and I don't know why. And he's like, okay, doesn't like panic, nothing. I'm waiting outside because I'm holding snow at this point. I'm waiting for him to like hurry up and go down there and figure out what's going on. And Travis is still taking a fucking shower. I open the thing, I'm like, Travis, get out of the shower. Like the alarm is going off, it's emergency. He's like, I still have soap on me. I'm like, who cares? Get out. I like literally had to turn the water off for him to like hurry up. Meantime, this thing's like, rah, rah, loud ass alarm like late at night going off. I'm sure all of our neighbors are probably freaking out with everything that's going on, wondering why this super loud alarm is going off. So Travis is like all annoyed that I'm getting him out of the shower. I love him to death, but like sometimes we joke and say that someone could be like in the house with a gun like trying to rob us and Travis will be like, everything's fine, just relax. You know, he like doesn't have that in him. He doesn't have like that flight or fight response like, oh shit, something's wrong, I need to handle this, you know? So eventually he gets out of the shower, he goes downstairs and he's like, I don't know why it's going off. It just like went off on its own again. And this is the thing, that was a brand new one that we had bought for down there. So there was no reason why that thing should have been going off on its own. The one that we have upstairs up here has never gone off and it's the same one. So like, it's not the laundry machine. Like Travis is pretty good to know like, okay, this is probably what's setting it off. There was nothing that could have been setting it off down there. So Travis was like, someone's fucking with us. Like some ghost or something that lives here is like fucking with us. He was really mad. He literally had to stomp on the thing to break it, to get it to shut off. And I told him, I'm like, we're not getting those stupid alarms anymore. They're faulty. They don't work well. Although we have one up here and it doesn't like malfunction at all. So that was like another weird thing that happened. But you guys, this is the thing that like freaked me the fuck out. And I'm actually gonna put in live footage because I filmed this. I was home by myself. Snow had gone to sleep and Travis had gone for a run at night. It was already dark. My mom wasn't here. She had gone back to her house already because her house was done being tinted. So I'm by myself at nighttime and I'm on my phone and all of a sudden my phone like shuts off. The battery wasn't low, nothing. It just shuts off and I'm like, that's so weird. So I go to like plug it in and it's like completely dead. Like it won't even turn back on. So I'm like, that's so weird. And I kept hearing this noise and it was like, that's not what it sounded like, but it was just some weird like kind of clanking noise upstairs. And I was just like, that's so weird. Like maybe it's the wind, I don't know, outside making noise like on the windows or something. And I just like ignored it for a little bit. And then it started getting a little bit louder and I was like, what the fuck is that? And so I ended up going upstairs and as I'm walking upstairs, I'm looking and I'm seeing Snow's room. Her door is like slowly opening and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm fucking freaking out right now. My phone is completely dead. Snow is sleeping, it's late, and I keep hearing noises upstairs. Hello? Hello? Guys, there's no windows open. Oh my god, I'm literally having a heart attack right now. I don't know what to do. I'm hearing noises up here. Hello? Is anybody there? Do you guys hear that? Oh. Babe, there's something upstairs. There is something upstairs.
Will people come?
No. Did you hear that? Oh my god, babe. Babe, get up here.
Please don't wake up Snow. Please don't wake up Snow.
The door is opening and shutting on its own.
You watched it.
Yes, it's on camera. I have it on camera.
Like clothes.
These windows aren't even open, Travis.
It started happening again with us just standing right there, and both of us were like so in shock that this door was opening on its own that we were just speechless, like we didn't say a word. It was so freaking scary.
Let me just tell you something. We normally keep these doors upstairs shut because we don't want Bandit going in and like peeing on the beds, or like sometimes he's naughty and he'll pee on stuff. So we always keep the bedroom doors upstairs shut and closed. And also during this time, it's been really cold. So the windows, we've always kept all the windows shut. So when I saw this door slowly opening, my heart like kind of sunk into my chest, and I'm like, oh my God, someone's in my fucking house. And I'm by myself and my phone is completely fucking dead. And I have no way of calling 911 or like Travis or anybody. And Snow is upstairs sleeping in our room in the pack and play. We put her here for lots of reasons. We don't put her in her room. So I am like, what the fuck do I do? Do I go up and grab Snow? I panicked and I didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden then I see the door slam shut really quick and I'm like, oh, hell no. Hell fucking no. Not today, Satan. And so I run upstairs and I go into Snow's room and she's like fast asleep. And I'm like, okay, breathe, Shannon, breathe, Shannon. There's no way someone can be in our house right now. There's no way someone can get in our house. And so as I'm like trying to slowly calm myself down and get realistic about what's going on, I'm like, okay, I know no one's in our house. No one could be in our house right now. I would have heard a window break. I would have heard if someone got into the house. So I'm like, that's out. So now I realize, okay, I think that this is a ghost. And everything is slowly starting to make sense. All the weird things that had happened before that you always put off, right? And think like, oh, there's an explanation or reason behind like why this is happening. It starts to like flood into my head and I'm like, this fucking house is haunted. This fucking house is haunted. This fucking house is haunted. And so instead of waking Snow up, because I know that like she's not in harm, I don't want to like scare her or wake her up if it's unnecessary. And so I slowly like walk out and go downstairs and I'm like, just breathe, everything's fine. I then am like, okay, no one is gonna fucking believe me that this happened. Travis is definitely gonna think I'm losing my fucking mind. And so I grab my camera because my phone is completely dead. And so I grab my camera and I slowly walk upstairs and I'm like freaking out and I start filming the door. And I'm like, okay, is it gonna happen again? Because I kept hearing it when I was going downstairs to grab my camera. I heard it again. You guys, literally my heart was like pounding out of my chest. I felt like a cold breeze and I was like, there's gotta be a window open somewhere. Travis must have opened a window. And so then I'm thinking like, okay, it's just a window that's doing this and it's the wind and the air like shutting the door. So I look at the hallway window. I'm like, okay, that's not open. I very quickly go into Snow's room and I notice it is freezing fucking cold in there. Like freezing cold. So I'm like, there's definitely a window open. I check every single window is fucking closed. And like I'm getting chills all over again. I slowly literally back out of the fucking room. It just didn't feel right. I felt very scared. This is a thing, like it's hard to explain like what I was feeling. I didn't see a ghost in there, but I could feel it. Like I could feel a presence and it was so cold that I literally walked backwards. I couldn't turn around because I was scared like something was gonna like pop up at me. That like I literally just walked backwards and slowly walked out of the room and shut the door and made sure to shut it all the way. And then went back downstairs, grabbed my camera, and I start filming to see if it's gonna happen again. And that fucking door opened on its own and slowly started opening and then would shut back and slowly would open again and shut back, almost as if there was a window open and it was like the wind. You would think it was like the wind shutting the door back and forth. You guys, my camera shut off and I don't know where it shut off. But basically what I was saying was, once that happened, I started to feel just very scared in my house. There were a lot of other things that have been going on that I've chosen not to talk about publicly. Maybe in the future I will. I've talked a little bit about it on Patreon, but I just don't feel comfortable talking. There's a lot of things that have been like happening, a lot of different reasons why we wanted to sell our house. This was definitely one of them. And so we actually put our house up for sale. And then shortly after, very shortly after, like a week later, we went on this like whole quarantine thing. And so the house is not going to be selling anytime soon. And basically we're stuck in a haunted house right now. At least that's how I feel. This is the thing. This is like the good part of all of this, is that it doesn't always feel like our house is haunted. This only happens sometimes. It's not like a recurring ongoing thing that happens every day or every night. It's only once in a while that this stuff happens. And so when it doesn't happen for a while, I'm like, oh, everything's good, like we're fine. And then all of a sudden something freaky will happen, and it like really scares me, and it's like, I don't want to be here. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why we don't put Snow in her room and she sleeps with us. Yeah, I mean, there's many reasons, but that's definitely one of them. I don't really feel safe with her in that room. That is majority of like where stuff I feel like happens. There will be times at night where I see like really big dark shadows in our room, and that freaks me out, but I try to just like a little kid shut my eyes and like put my blanket over my head and pretend like it's not happening. So yeah, that's kind of some of the scary hauntings that we've had happen here in this house. I don't know, it just kind of creeps me out, but other than that, like we're okay, we're fine. It's kind of scary to know like you're kind of stuck in your house, especially right now, being stuck in a haunted house. So anyway, that is the story of the haunted stuff that's been going on here. If you guys like this story time, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Let me know that you want to see more like this. Let me know down in the comment section, what other storytime videos do you guys want me to post for you? I hope that you guys are all doing really good right now. I am really happy that you decided to click on my video. I'm sending you all my love and all my positive energy, and I hope to see you in my next video. Mwah.
Regardless of cash, regardless of wealth, I never got handouts, I did this myself. Prove I got something to show. Nobody got nothing on Rose. I got the clout, I got a following. Yeah, you can hate, but you gotta acknowledge it.